We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Okay, so well, that's one perspective.
We'll get to it.
So we're talking about those who want to scrape things out of their ears. We're talking about those who want to, you know, who feel that it's an attraction thing. Then, of course, there's the low waist.
Yes.
Which I can't stand either.
Yes.
What's the sagging?
The sagging.
Yeah, the sagging, you know, the sagging of the jeans,
pants,
you know.
yes.
And the other day I made an observation that it's always the dude with the dirty boxers that wants to sag.
Whoops. Guys, where are you guys?
The boxers that he's been wearing for 1 year.
Literally.
He's been wearing it for 1 year.
Below the belt.
I don't get it.
You sag it, you can't walk, you're shuffling like this. What is that?
Fad. It's a fad.
What is that?
Today,
you know where they pick it
I
up
wish I had another guy here.
Yeah.
They pick it up from music videos.
But without really knowing the history behind it.
Thank you. There's a history to that thing.
Yeah.
It's not even a positive one.
It's not very negative.
It's not.
Yeah.
Very negative.
Okay, but now talking about male hygiene. One, it's important
Terribly.
that as a man, you should smell good.
Yes.
Because me, I should smell good.
Yes.
I need to walk by and you ask who passed on a positive note.
Yes.
Not on the negative note. But some guys are not bothered about it. And fortunately for me, I don't sweat so much. So I'm on the fortunate part. If you're a guy and you know you sweat so much, it's not expensive. Get to the shop, buy something of 500 naira and you're good.
It's even less than 500.
There are some that are less than that.
Yes.
You could get yourself something and smell good. Some don't care. And it's very, very bad. I have an office where sometimes people walk into the office and I watch my colleagues and they just open all the windows. I'll be smiling in my office like, whoops, they've come in. And it's bad, like terribly bad. So people should they should understand that you're not living for yourself. You're living for people around you also. Because you can't keep going and people are covering their noses and you're inconveniencing people because of who you are. What does it take? Take a bath in the morning. If you take a bath in the morning, if you sweat, get the roll on, get whatever you need to get. If you box are no cost again now, buy some, change all the changeables. Good, we're not like women.
What does that mean?
I mean, women have a lot to change. We the men, we don't have much to change. A lot of things we don't change. We don't wash up a lot of places. Guys, just be you. Clean guy.
No, you still need to wash.
Let me educate you.
No, doctor has
Let me
looked for
educate you.
trouble.
You have a lot of things to wash, please, so that you don't give people rancid balls. Okay.
Some of us have very active imagination.
Oh my goodness.
I know the picture that popped into my mind when you said that.
Okay. So, do you like rancid balls? Rancid balls? Anybody? Rancid balls? Breakfast, lunch, dinner? Nobody likes rancid balls. I don't like rancid balls. So you got to wash it. Really wash it. The south side, I mean, the external male genitalia. You need to wash it properly. Just like the women wash. Okay? Now, what is hygiene? Hygiene, or is that group of processes. Those processes that you go through to achieve health and well-being. Be it personal hygiene, environmental hygiene, toilet hygiene. Hygiene is hygiene. You want to achieve cleanliness, good health and well-being at the end of the day. Now, when we talk about male hygiene, we are specifically referring to the male gender. And the hygiene starts from the top of the head. How many of us like our men with afros?
Nope.
Dreadlocks? Palms?
Well, I don't mind dreadlocks.
Coils.
I don't mind dreadlocks if you're going to keep them clean, you know, very clean, well-oiled,
I'm not too particular about how a man's hair is, low, high, or dressed, so long as it is neat and properly taken care of.
I like that. Now, properly taken care of is why we're talking about male hygiene. If you're the clean-cut variety like our comrade right here, clean shaven, that's very easy. A lot of them do it alternate day, especially
Just
the ones
comb your hair.
that have the hair looking like that. The one that we call sekura in Nigeria, or moro, right?
Moro.
The skin cut. Keep the
That's
scalp.
what I actually
You were
prefer.
actually thinking seriously about what is moro chi.
I didn't know it either, but I mean, every day is a learning experience.
Guys are elites, that's right.
So you clean it really well. Like my husband, he has the skin cut variety.
Yeah, I like
so
that.
he does the alternate day shaving. If he doesn't go to the, where you have your hair cut and lose some weight, he does the alternate day one with the cream or the what's they call it now?
Hair remover.
The clipper, or even the plain razor, the one that comes in a long scalpel, and you just do that. It does that. And then after you take care of your hair, the skin cut one is really, really easy to take care of. You jump in the shower, you do that. But you know what? Some people do not even realize that even with the skin cut one, you can still shampoo your scalp.
Yes.
You shampoo your scalp.
Yeah, of course, of course.
You use the exfoliating cream on your scalp.
You're right.
You use the
Why?
balm because you want to make sure you
Dead
do not
skin.
have bumps.
Oh, bumps.
Bumps,
Okay.
and you get you remove the dead skin, because if you don't remove the dead skin, it can get caught in between the hair follicle and start forming the bumps.
Dandruff.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And then you have all those scaling.
Dandruff.
All those scaling. So you want to take out all the hair completely.
So you exfoliate your scalp
Oh yes.
Yes.
with regular, like the regular
Yes.
face?
It says head and face. Or it says head and neck.
Oh,
yeah.
really? Okay.
It says head and neck.
Definitely, no, don't worry.
So you do that
take it
for the
to,
men.
What?
we can take it to GNC. You can just
So for the men that do the skin cut one, so you do
Yeah.
all that. You shampoo, you use your exfoliating, you put the balm, you put the anti-balm cream, and then you oil it,
Okay.
the special oil for the scalp, and then it looks really neat. Of course, when you're doing the hair, you also do the face. They do what they call the manscaping. You manscape. If it's the side buns, it's the beard, the goatee, the mustache,
Oh, wow.
you manscape. You trim, you shave, you put your balm so that you don't have the bumps as well. You put the aftershave lotion and make sure that the whole thing is really clean and neat.
That's another thing. As a guy, if you have to keep beards,
You know that thing?
No,
that-
you
that-
do not even know that you can come.
nice. I don't have, like I said, look, it's your look, it's what you want.
Yes.
But make it, let it be orderly and neat. Not you sit there and you are doing that.
But you know the thing is that with the beard, they have all this kind of weird looks. You have the ones that you braid, you put in the ribbon, you put in the
Not a-
rings,
not a
you put all
fan.
sorts of things.
Yeah, Hollywood,
Not a
yeah.
fan.
Yes, and then you tie it up like that. You tie it up like that. What about the guy with the longest one in the world? Is in the Guinness Book of Records.
I'm
At
sure
least
he set
and
out
ties
to achieve
Is
and
there
all of
something.
that,
something out
you
of
know?
it? You know?
So you shampoo. If you want to use the regular shampoo, you want to use the anti-dandruff shampoo, you should do shampoo every time you have a bath. Don't say once a week or all of that. Depending also on the length of the hair. You cannot do every day if you have really long hair, you have a really busy schedule. But if you go to the gym every day, please, you need to wash every day because the sweat just
sweating
gathers
all
there.
over.
The pores are clogged. They can't breathe. They start smelling. They start breathing bacteria. You see ringworm and you see dandruff and all of that. So you wash, you dry with the hair dryer. Men use hair dryer if they have long hair. You dry, you condition, you shampoo, you style.
That's a lot for a man.
Yes, you can just like
Well,
women.
if you're planning to keep long hair,
The truth is,
You
you
know?
could follow the easy route.
Skin cut.
Skin cut.
It's your choice.
And use a
It's
sponge.
your choice.
To
Yeah.
no, just
Once you
If
wash
you're, not
off,
if you're not allergic, you use a sponge. And then we come down to the face. We've talked about the manscaping and all of that. Then we talk about the mouth. Oral hygiene for the male. You do what you need to do. You brush your
Is it
teeth.
true that you have more men with mouth other than women? Is
It's
it
true.
true?
Statistically.
who took-
Research, yes. Dentists.
Wow.
Dentists.
Why?
Dentists.
How?
You know everything is supposed
They
to have a
care less
statistics so
about
that you can
things
have
like that.
can have bankers bankroll your projects. If you do not have the numbers, a lot of people
Yeah,
do
but
not
I
want to
mean, it
bankroll.
sounds like a very basic thing to go and do a study about mouth odor.
Well, it's a big problem for a lot of people. It's a turn off. It's a no-no for a lot of people.
Yeah, naturally.
It's a make or break condition for some people.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
really, really important. Yes. So you go do your brushing in the morning and in the evening. You have your mouthwash handy for in between, especially if you have a little odor up there. Then remember that there are different types of toothbrushes: soft, medium, and hard. You decide which one is good for your teeth and for your gum. Remember, you're also taking care of your gum. Otherwise, it's going to start bleeding and you have blisters, all of that. Don't forget to also wash your tongue.
Very important.
Wash your tongue. And then when you're doing your oral hygiene, don't be in a hurry. Take your time. Give your mouth a proper wash.
And
Yeah.
Your
may I
tongue.
also add, you know,
And then remember to visit the dentist.
The general belief is that if you have mouth odor, you have mouth odor. But there are times when it's not because you have mouth odor. You've just not exposed your mouth for a long time, and it's like the mouth sour. I don't know what
Yeah,
that's
like when
Yeah,
you're
okay.
fasting.
So I usually advise, yes, when you're fasting, I usually advise it does not harm anyone for you to gargle once in a while or keep sweet menthol in your bag. Just so you don't punish anybody unnecessarily. I mean, it's not right for you to just punish anyone with that kind of. So have mental that once in a while, if you feel you've not been in a conversation in a long time,
Talk to someone.
in a conversation in a long time, you can just pop.
And
So
there are
when you
certain
talk, you
diseases.
smell fresh.
There are
Yeah,
people, there are
I
people
was
that do
going to
not
say
have
illness.
There are people that do not like anything that is sweet. So the menthol will not work for them. but they have mouth freshness, breath freshness
Yeah,
everywhere.
you can just
You can
spray
even make yours if you want.
Okay, how
Yes,
do
you
you
can
make
make yours. You can use your regular mouthwash, put it in a spray can, a little spray can. Once in a while you do that, and then you remember to rinse out with water and don't swallow. You don't have to go and look for a mouthwash in the shop to buy. Yes, and then there's certain diseases that you can actually tell that that person has that disease from the kind of odor emanating from their mouth, like diabetes. There's diabetes.
Really?
Yes.
The
There's a
diabetes.
certain smell. Yes.
Yes.
There's a certain smell that comes out of the mouth of a diabetic, and you say this person is diabetic.
And there's nothing you can do about that.
There's
really,
nothing. It's actually not repulsive.
Okay.
It's like a medical kind of smell.
Medical.
Well,
It
you're
doesn't-
a doctor,
it doesn't
so
put
you
you off.
know, but it's the same thing with, I'm not stigmatizing against people with HIV, but a couple of people, because I've done a lot of work with people living with HIV, I noticed that somehow some of them smell a certain way. Is it the
It's
same
all of the
thing?
medication they are taking.
The antiretroviral, is that what's called? That
Yes.
they take, right?
Even when you
Yeah, but I don't know
some
why
of
they
them
smell
that
like
did
that.
not start their medication on time, they actually have a certain fascia, a certain infusion to the skin on their face. As if, you know the way at the back of an orange is.
Yeah.
There's a way that their face is. If you have worked with them long enough, a lot of them have that
Yeah,
look.
yeah,
So there's some
yeah.
certain illnesses that comes with mouth odor.
Anyway, we've spent a lot of time on the head
yes.
area.
We're coming down.
Let's
We're
go
coming down. And
Are we at the
When she
armpits
finishes,
now?
there's a place I'm running to.
Are we
Are we
I
at
want
the
her to
armpits
finish.
now?
don't forget
No,
to go.
she's still on the neck.
Don't forget to see your dentist at least once a year. If you're one of those people that have soft dentition, then you see more often, so that they can catch any caries on time. Right? Now we're coming down to the pits, the underarm. Do you people like your men with hair
No.
down there?
No.
Hair down there?
No.
Hair down there?
It,
hair down there?
it,
Do you
it
have hair
traps
down there?
sweat.
No.
You don't have. You shave? How often do you shave?
Very often.
What do you use?
Before now, I used to use shaving stick.
Okay.
Then my wife introduced me to one cream,
Yes.
and I love the cream so
Yes.
much.
So use anything that you want to use,
It's
but shave it. But guess what? I have noticed a lot that in the modeling world, that having underarm hair for men
Is a
is a
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
Now, let me explain. I once asked this thing, and usually you're talking about the other side, the West.
Yeah.
Even here.
Yeah, because we
Even
copy
some
everything
models,
blindly.
yes.
We don't. Over there, first of all, the weather is very cold.
Yes.
Friendly.
You gain nothing by removing it.
You
That's
need
one.
hair to-
Two,
To keep you warm.
it is also considered to be part of the gay culture to remove the hair.
Yes. So that
So
people differentiate themselves.
heterosexuals tend to leave the hair
Yes.
because they're trying to send a
Yes.
message that this is
I'm
my
not there.
leaning. Yeah? But over here, it does get quite hot.
But you see models exposing their underarm.
Yeah,
hair.
I am saying that, I'm not talking of models now. Models can even put a peacock on their head and everything. But I'm saying that based on societal, conceptions, it is considered that men who really groom, she had already said, who really go all the way and groom and remove all this hair and everything, lean the other way. So heterosexuals tend to want to have a slightly rougher look so that, you don't
Masculine.
You don't mistake
yeah,
that
they're more
club.
masculine.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's also the fact that the weather is far more forgiving than
Than
ours
ours,
is.
yes.
Now here, on a good day, and men ordinarily sweat more than women do.
Androgen to testosterone.
Okay, I didn't even know that was why.
Testosterone, yeah.
And then maybe you're on the other side.
Excuse me.
It's pretty sunny most days. You sweat a lot, and you're leaving all that hair there. For who?
See, no matter
For the
what you
ladies to
decide,
inhale.
no matter what your leaning is, you want to leave a bush, a forest, you want it to be as clean and smooth as a baby's butt, keep it clean.
And those are the people who want to hug you the most. Like,
And the
I
moment
mean,
they do like that, you want to...
you want to run,
And they want you to lay your head on their arms.
and you're leaning away and the person
So please, keep your... Whether you decide to keep your underarm hair, whether you decide to shave it clean, there are lots of things to do to make that place smell really good.
Okay.
Wash whenever you have a bath, twice a day. Give that place an extra wash. Dry it out.
What of chest hair?
Oh, the same thing. The same thing. You can wax
You
it
take
off.
care of that when you're taking your bath.
Yes.
Exactly.
So we're coming to that part. So you wash, clean. If you like deodorant, the roll-on, the air freshener, the powder. There's even something that is called an underarm pad.
Oh,
For
wow.
people, yes,
sweat a
it's
lot.
herbally
Yeah,
made.
it
Not even just because of the sweating. It's also a deodorant, an anti.
Is it a stick-on?
Yes, an antiperspirant. So you do not stick it on your body. You stick it on the underarm part of your dress.
Oh.
You stick it on the dress, not on
Remember
your
the
body.
way we used to wear shoulder pads?
Yeah, that's how it
And they
is.
used to have stick-on shoulder pads. So you stick it, it's
On the inside.
yes, it's very flat.
Okay.
You won't even know it's there.
Oh, that's
it's
nice.
very flat. You stick it on the underarm part of your dress, and then you do like that. It takes care of the sweating. It takes care of the nice smell because
that's
Even the color, the yellow color
it's
sometimes.
mentholated,
Yeah,
it's mentholated
sometimes goes
base.
brown.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So when you sweat, it absorbs it. It's
That
like
sounds
it's
good.
like the thin menstrual pad
Yeah.
that absorbs the blood. It doesn't bloat. It just remain thin. So it absorbs the heat. It absorbs everything, and it makes you smell good. It's beautiful.
That's nice.
That's nice.
So for people who are allergic or people who say they do not want any of those, what they call them,
Roll-ons. and
roll-on
things like
stuff affecting them, because a lot of people are saying that it causes cancer, it does that, it does that. So you have all sorts of things. You can even comb it if you like, brush, you can braid it if you like, do whatever you like. Just make sure it is
It's
clean.
clean.
Now, chest hair. When you have your general bath, you wash up really well. Some people are hairy from head to toe. So those people take an extra time
Extra
having a good bath. Now, there's something I always like to talk about when I'm talking about having a bath. If you're having a bath under the shower, it's different from when you're pulling from
A bucket.
a bucket, right?
scooping onto your
So
table.
you waste more water when you're having a shower,
True.
but you have a better bath when you're having a bucket because you're managing that water, you're scrubbing yourself really well. A lot of people just stand under the shower and do like that and they get away and they think they've had a bath.
Not me.
But if you're having a bath from a bucket, you're making sure you're washing every part of
Because
you.
you're limited to that water,
yes.
you want to utilize it.
Yes. Now, if you do not like to keep your chest hair or your body hair, there's a simple way of removing it. You use, like he's using, the peel-off cream. You just rub and have a bath and the thing comes off as if you're shaving.
Exactly.
Yes, it comes off. Or you do the waxing.
I think it's painful.
But there's something that dermatologists have advised. Do not remove your hair completely. Trim. It is better for the pores because you can end up having bumps that will turn
when
into
you
something
take it
else. They
off.
can
Okay.
become infected, and then you have fistulas and they are dripping and they are, they are
Even
filled
with the underarm.
no,
Yes.
not the underarm.
Okay, the
That's
chest.
But you still have sometimes once in a while you have bumps under there from not shaving properly, and the follicle turns back on itself and it forms a bump. But after a while, it goes off. Now we're coming down to the very crucial area, the crotch.
Yep.
A lot of people do not watch that area properly. Now let's start from the very, very important organ down there, the external male genitalia, the John Thomas. Can we refer to it as JT? Or should I
I
say
think male genitalia
male
is
genitalia?
okay.
Okay, so we call it the male genitalia. Do you know that there's a special way to wash the male genitalia?
No.
And then when you're washing, you're also looking out for something else. What are you looking out for? You're looking out for any changes in the sac that may indicate testicular cancer.
What kind of changes in
The
skin
size.
color?
Skin color, size, tenderness, and lumps.
Man, I hope you're listening.
Skin color, size, tenderness, lumps in the sac. That's the balls. So that's what I'm saying. You need to wash those balls so that when you're having an intimate moment with your woman or your girlfriend or your wife, she doesn't want to taste rancidness. All right? So now you wash the balls properly. Do not use scented soap. And use warm water, lukewarm water, or cold water, regular water, room temperature. Hot water is not good for it.
I don't know any soap that is not
Especially for the sperm. You want to be able to make your wife pregnant.
scented. No, seriously, I don't know any soap that is not scented.
So they have.
There are
they
unscented
have.
soaps out
They
there.
have.
They're actually out
They're
there.
rare, but they're
They're
rare.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So-
you shouldn't use scented soap?
Yes, use unscented soap
Why?
because a lot of the chemicals that induce the scent is not very friendly, even to the women's
Yeah.
vaginal area.
Okay.
The male vaginal area, the male external genitalia the temperature is like 5, the pH is like 5.
And that's
For
what
the
they
women-
advise you shouldn't wear tights
Yes.
on this.
For the
especially
women
men.
is 7 to 8. So you give it a thorough wash, right? Now for men who are not circumcised, you pull back the foreskin and you wash thoroughly. If you do not do that, there's something that is called the smegma. It's like, like the female external genitalia self-cleanses. So we have juices coming out of there. The men also have, but theirs is not as much as ours. So those little juices, the pre-ejaculate, they form on the tip and then they drip down into the foreskin, and then they form the smegma. And then when you pull back the foreskin, you see something that looks like the discharge from candida.
That is
Cheesy,
so
but
much
that is not.
information.
That is not because you have herpes or because you have an STD. is just a natural inhabitant of that particular area.
If you don't clean properly.
Yes. So you need to pull back the foreskin and give it a good wash. Not aggressively, because that place is very tender. It's going to start hurting and it's going to start peeling and have bruises. So you pull back and you wash properly, and you pull back up, and then you wash the entire length of the shaft. Now, another part of the crotch that people do not wash is the crotch, the side itself, the right and left side that joins to the hip. And for some people, I've worked in medical practice, you look at them, they pull down their pants, you want to do one or two things, some neutral physical examination, you see white patches, fungal infection, really, really bad looking, and you see them itching like crazy. It's called the Jock Itch. They itch like crazy. It's because they do not give it a good wash. So you spend some time, you give it a good wash. Even if you have hair down there that is protecting you, or you prefer to shave, leave the hair, but just wash. And they also have beautiful products for that area. For washing, for making it smell good, for combing it, just manscaping it. And then, of course, there's the area between the external genitalia and the anal orifice, called the perineum. You also need to wash before you go to the anal orifice. Wash properly, and then you wash the butt crack coming up. What did I say that I want them to take home? Pull back your foreskin, wash out the smegma.
That's for the uncircumcised.
For the uncircumcised, please examine your balls whenever you have a wash, because early detection is key to preventing prostate cancer or testicular cancer. So you check for the size of the balls, check for lumps, check for tenderness when you do that. Don't use hot water. It is not good for the sperm. Use lukewarm water, warm water, or regular water, yes. And then please wash morning and evening. If you cannot have a bath, you're so tired, wash it only. Dab water under your armpit, especially if you're going to coil up to your wife at night.
Yes, talking about curling up to your wives at night. Dude, if you're not getting enough action, it doesn't necessarily mean your wife is seeing somebody else. She doesn't leave you anymore. She doesn't love you anymore. Sometimes it's just because you smell.
The same thing for the women too.
No, I mean, like, seriously, yeah, for the women too. But today,
and he has a bad oral hygiene. You
know, you just want to politely be like, sweetheart, I'm so tired right now. You know, and if that continues over a while, instead of imagining that she has kept like 9 lovers outside, oh, she doesn't love you anymore, it's because you didn't give her any money. Just, when you bath, take extra time.
Freshen up
Properly. Try and do that more regularly when you come in from work in the evening. And then observe again, there might be a change. If there's a change, you know that that's what you were doing wrong, because it's very, very difficult to communicate.
There are lots of
these
beautiful
things.
products out there.
Sometimes.
Moving
Smell
to the
nice.
feet.
Doesn't have to be the designer one.
You know, men wear socks more often than females.
We're coming down there, darling.
Because that's the next
We're
point.
coming down there,
right?
yes.
Like, it's a big issue, because
coming
sometimes
down
even
there.
in the office, a guy knocks their feet off the shoe and the whole place is
Changed.
We're coming down there.
But the guy leaves,
Now,
and you
before-
weren't around when he came, but he leaves, you come and like, this person was here.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh my goodness.
You know him with that smell.
Exactly.
Now, before we leave the crotch area, okay, men can also have candidiasis. Yes. Okay? Because the natural living bacteria down there. When you give it the right environment and condition, it will proliferate. So you need to keep the place clean. What about boxers? How often should they wash their boxers? And how often should they change their boxers? The same thing with the innerwear. The one that we call the what now?
the
Singlet.
singlets.
Don't wear your singlet more than once. Because the job of the singlet and the job of the boxer, apart from protecting your, your heirloom, your family heirloom, it keeps the place snug and nice, right? And you fart
All
in
the
there,
secretion,
you
everything.
pee, you poop, and sometimes you don't do a very good job cleaning. Remove your boxers every day you come back, put it in the laundry. The same thing with the singlets.
Let me quickly
once
ask
a day.
the man.
Once a day, yes.
What is the proper protocol for boxers? You wear a pant and then your boxers, or
No.
just the boxers?
The boxer.
The boxers and then you
Only the
then you
boxers.
trouser, yes.
Yes.
The trouser.
Just about
Some people don't like boxers, they wear pants. That's how.
Yeah, some
That's
guys
why they
don't
have
like
all sorts. They have the
But just
speedos,
make it
everything.
loose.
Yes. Now we're going down to the feet. Men, if you can manicure, you can also pedicure.
Bam.
If you can do once a month, if you have the resources, once a month. I know some people who do every 2 weeks. Wash if you cannot do. If you don't want to do you don't even have to go to a pedicurist to have it done. You can do it at home. Get your pedicure set. If you cannot afford the pedicure set, buy a 20 naira razor blade. All those other little scissors.
Also nail cutter.
Nail cutter.
I think
like
the
that. They
Blackstone works fine.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
coming
that's
there
for your
too.
friend now.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
It's a nail now.
I'm coming to that part too. My mom had Blackstone until she died.
I have one in my
so
bathroom.
rest
I
in
have
peace.
one.
And I never saw anybody that had a neat fit as my mom. It was a daily scrub for her. Daily scrub.
I have one in my
I
bathroom.
grew up seeing that in our bathroom.
Yes,
Yeah.
daily
I grew up
scrub.
using it.
So you don't have to go and buy all this newfangled scrub, this scrub, that. Go and get yourself a Blackstone. Okay, it has
Works
all.
very well.
It has those pores. They just exfoliate, just scrub
Dead
and scrub.
skin
As you're
That is
taking
it.
a bath, you just do that quickly. And
Because let's not be as if we're talking about pedicure. Who has money to go and do pedicure? 5,000, 15, Blackstone. If you don't want to buy Blackstone, they have the scrubbing stuff in the market there. Go and buy. It's anywhere from 100 naira, depending on the size, to 2,000 naira. Scrub, scrub, scrub. Wash in between your toes. Make sure that there's
The
nothing
washing in
hanging
between
there.
the toes is very,
Important.
very important
Yes.
for men because
Make sure that there's
that's where
nothing
the
hanging.
bad smell come
Yes.
out from our feet.
Make sure that there's nothing
between
hanging in there.
Yes, yes.
Trim your nails. When you finish trimming your nails, you poke inside the nail bed. Remove anything that is hanging there. And please, your socks, you not wear one socks 1 month. Change it every
you
day.
shouldn't even wear it the
Because-
next day.
Yes,
Socks 1 month.
change it every day. Every day. No. Okay? So when you put your sock on, you put your shoe on, you go to work 9 to 5. By the time you come back, you spend like 12 hours outside of the house. But probably in one little office, air conditioner is not working right, or it's broken, or whatever. And then you come home and you remove your... People will want to die. So do you want to wear that same sock the next day? Come on. Come on. You're just going to give the natural living bacteria living on your feet the opportunity
Room
to
to
grow.
grow.
And then the next thing you start having ringworms, athlete's foot, bunions, and all of that. You shouldn't do that to yourself.
You know, I quite agree with everything you just said.
Yes.
But I always talk to people also who are watching us who might not be able to afford to change their stockings on regular basis. Now, as well as the boxer, the singlets. But we all have water.
Simple and soap.
We all have soap.
There's sun.
There's sun. Even
There's,
if it's,
there's iron self.
There's iron. So even if you can't afford to get, because it may not be easy for one person
If
to...
you have two, you're good to go.
If you
Yes.
have two,
At
you're
least
good
two.
to go. All you need to do is ensure that at every point in time, you wash
You
it.
wash.
When you come back at night and you have 2 stockings. One, because I learned this while I was in university. Come back, you wash it, and you know that there's no sun to dry it.
Use a towel.
Now, after drying it, just go back to your fridge.
The back of the fridge.
The back of the
We
fridge.
mentioned that the last time we had the conversation on hygiene. The back of the fridge.
Back of the if you have someone
Yes.
has an AC.
But you know the thing now with this back of the fridge business, the fridges that are making now do not have that rail.
That grill.
That used to the rail that used
For you to afford
be at the back.
For you to afford to buy that kind of fridge they're making
You
now,
should be able to
you should be
have
able to
models.
have a lot of socks,
Yeah.
stockings. You should be able to have a lot of singlets.
Although some people
If you
put their
inherited it-
priorities in all the wrong
What if he
places.
inherited it? And
That's
then,
the thing,
apart
right?
from putting it behind the fridge, you put it under the fan.
Yes.
And then there's something that I did not go to boarding school, but there's something I learned that a friend of mine taught me. You get your towel, put it in between your towel. Somebody will hold one edge, or you do it by yourself.
you squeeze.
Take out as much water as you can.
It's just like
Then
you
spread.
spread it
Then spread it. In the morning, it's ready.
It's ready. So it's not something...
You just have to be
somebody might be
innovative.
watching what doctor is saying and saying, it's for big men. It's not for big
not
men.
for big men.
It's a
It's
habit
not for
that
big men.
men needs to develop. I've heard this story about this international Chinese movie actor. I'm not sure whether it's Bruce Lee or was it Jackie Chan. One
Jackie
of them.
Chan.
I'm not sure. He does not, as wealthy as he is, if he goes to a hotel or is at home, once he takes his boxers off, he will wash it.
Himself.
He will wash it.
It's something he grew up like that.
You know,
It's something
ladies
he
do
grew
that
up
more
doing.
often. Like
I was
ladies
gonna
are
go
used
there.
to, once you take off your pants before, it's like a routine sometimes. You first wash it, you don't keep them until they are a box full before you wash. But it's rare for men to do that. But it's also possible for them to do that. Just wash and hang. So if you have 3, by the time you wash this one, you're done with the 2. This one is
perfect.
already dry.
Very, very.
But I'm going to take us down to some place. The women. Now, when I mean the women, I mean the mothers. You have a lot of role to play.
Yes.
True that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's a habit. Once you form this habit growing up, it's difficult
difficult
to break.
Break.
Yes.
That's true.
And mothers are known to teach girls about hygiene.
They don't teach
and
the guys.
neglect teaching the boys.
Mothers.
about hygiene.
No, and you wake up and now the mothers,
It's a two-way
the
thing.
mothers didn't do their jobs. The man now gets married, and the wife wants to teach him.
He doesn't
And
want to
he
learn.
gets upset.
He gets upset.
He doesn't want to learn.
It becomes a big
Yeah,
issue.
because-
Can you brush your teeth before you come to bed, and you get angry?
Growing
Tell him
up,
change
it
your
wasn't
boxer,
an
change your
issue,
singlet, and
so
he's
he thinks
upset.
you are.
And that's a fact.
However, in homes where they're lucky enough to have children of both sexes, I don't think there's anything wrong with both parents engaging with both sexes
At the same time.
At the same time.
Yes.
So mothers, I feel, should get out of this mindset of, I need to focus on my daughters.
Yeah.
Work on your daughters, work on your sons. Fathers have a role to play. Work on there's this fallacy that women should raise girls. I disagree.
It's wrong.
Disagree.
It's completely wrong.
There's a big role fathers play in
Very big,
making
Big role.
in making a young girl grow up confident.
Yes, especially imparting leadership qualities.
Exactly.
Engage her. Talk to her, especially about boys and things like that. And mothers should also learn to talk to their sons about, listen, the truth is if you sweep this place, you won't drop dead.
Exactly.
If you make your bed, it's all good.
Yes.
You know,
If you learn how to cook,
You know, I think
an
parents,
advantage.
parents should
It
do
has
both
a
kids.
lot.
My parents,
both sexes,
my parents,
linear.
I don't know what cloth my parents were cut from, but that was what they did for us. Do you know my brother is even a better cook than his wife? Both my brothers. Then my other brother, so rest in peace. They're better cooks than their wives.
Do they actually cook?
Yes.
And that's different because there are lots of men who can cook that don't.
That is how my
Second
brothers are.
thing is also when a man can cook, it also depends on the wife eventually. My husband is a good cook, but he rarely cooks these days. And I think I will take responsibility for that because I want to do it. My
And that's okay.
son cooks.
Good.
He's just 12, but
Good.
he can wake up in the morning and whip up breakfast for everybody.
Good.
He'll make egg and set the breakfast table. Yeah, he does that.
Yes.
He can make his own noodles and little things like that.
Yes.
He fixes them. But sometimes I have a friend whose husband loves to cook, but she won't let him.
Yeah,
In fact, when I visited, he was like, I could make the best pancake, but your friend would not let me. I mean, there's always one fault or the other she will find if I'm the one that made it. But every other person will eat it and be like, you make the best pancake. in the
However,
world.
we are
But
digressing.
sometimes
Let's
Start
come
to
back.
finish. I want to start to finish so that I'll point us to where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, because a male child's confidence grows when he is tutored by his mom or his dad.
Yes. Both of them together.
I didn't get up to be uptight and neat. I lost my mom when we were very tender. But my elder sister, may her soul rest in peace too, did a good job.
Good.
She made sure that after we had finished playing, you know, as a child, you will run home,
Oh, man.
you're tired, you want to sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
She would wait for me. When I would have slept and maybe snoring, she would just come and pour me water
Oh my God.
and bath.
Yes.
And she had a way of making it so annoying to
You
me
must have hated that day.
out of anger, I would rush to the bathroom.
Yes.
And I would go have my bath. She would watch me and say, you've not scrubbed this well, you've not scrubbed this well. She followed up, and before I could know it, it had become a part of me.
Yes.
And
You don't want to be woken up.
now,
It's better you just do
now
it.
we transfer that to our children.
Yes.
If you hear us talk, if I tell my son, you marry a wife now, she'll tell you your mouth is smelling. Will I talk to you? And he wouldn't want to hear that.
Exactly.
He would just go to the bathroom, he pick his toothbrush. Because I learned what my sister did to me, and it helped me.
Yes.
And if we could learn to start this culture
from young.
Early.
if you start this culture early, because it doesn't matter whether you have money or you don't have money. Money does not bring neatness.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Money does not. The fact that you have money, there are very rich people that when they pass, you just ask yourself, who is next? You must, it's something you have to be conscious about, and you grow yourself into it. Train your children, both the male and the female. Make sure you are consciously looking at it, because the doctor has been saying about the body. There are so many of us, if you come into our car, you run out.
No, we haven't finished though.
Why?
Oh my God.
It's untidy, it's smelling. Smelling.
My sister.
We drop things
You will drop
everywhere.
dead from shock.
Yeah.
They live in the car. Discarded food containers, bottles of underwear, books, paper.
Underwear.
I'm telling you.
Lying inside the car.
I have seen.
The car is very active.
I have seen. I have seen. Not once, not twice. A family member too. I'm telling
Anyway,
you.
I was going to say, Ba, you uttered a fallacy.
What was it?
We don't all have access to water.
It's true.
Okay. Again?
And
True.
I'm going
It was
to...
an oversight.
Yes.
I'm talking from...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a certain
Perspective.
class of us that
Yes,
have ready
yes,
access
yes,
to water,
you're right,
but
that's
it's
right.
not everybody.
You're
In
right.
some places, water is a bit of a luxury. However, even from people who come from those seriously disadvantaged situations, you can tell who is naturally clean, and who is naturally dirty.
Yes.
The naturally dirty person will always find a way to show up smelling. Meanwhile, he lives in the same environment with the other
Where the
person
other person
who
is
manages to
coming
come in always, maybe he has just 3 clothes,
But they're neat.
but they're always clean.
They may be threadbare, but they're neat.
They are threadbare.
Yes.
They are old, but they're clean. They are pressed,
They
and
don't
he's
smell.
not smelling.
Yes.
Then there's this other person who will always show up rumpled, filthy, smelling. And for me, like in the course of work, I've had instances where I've had to live in communities where water was a serious problem. Even drinking water, they have to fetch it and wait for it to settle before they scoop what's on top.
Put alum.
Or use alum and things like that. If you give me 3 sachets of water, I'm good.
To take a bath.
I know the places I wash.
Of course.
Yeah.
Here,
Here.
I prioritize.
Down there.
My nether parts.
Yes.
Very front
The
and back.
feminine bits.
My feminine bits, front and back. My armpits. I brush my mouth, wash my face.
That's it.
3 sachets of
fresh.
water, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm fresh.
And
You're
then
fresh.
wipes.
And you dab and clean yourself.
clean yourself.
No, that
And then you have the
that
disposable
3
wipes,
sachet of
body
water,
wipes.
of water trick I learned in camp. Potiskum, Damaturu.
You understand?
Yobe State.
Okay.
That's where I learned that one because
Okay.
water wasn't a luxury, but it was a bit of a luxury.
It was hard to come by.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, so there's no excuse. You can manage water enough that you don't go around the whole place being ungrateful to God.
Okay.
Because that's what I call it.
Yes.
God gave you this beautiful, healthy body. It's healthy, it's functional, it's everything, and you're not maintaining it.
Exactly.
Some people, like we said, it's not about money. Some people are middle class or even wealthy, and they smell. Back when I was covering the National Assembly, you know, the way it's structured, journalists sit up there, so you get almost a full view.
Yeah,
of the,
bird's eye view.
There was a senator that used to spit on the carpet.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Of course, I'm not going to
He used
mention
to chew
his name.
cola?
Yes, you chew cola and spit. And unfortunately, he used to sit near a really elegant
Lady.
female senator. I used to, because they sit in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
So everybody used to feel for that woman because she's this, you know, kes type. She's not in the Senate anymore. But by virtue of the fact that they had to sit next to it, this dude didn't care. He was a former governor, now senator. And you'd be up there and you'd see him, you know, we used to wonder
I should
what,
have done a video of him and
we
put it
used
out
to
there.
wonder
Wouldn't
what
have
is
changed
this man
anything.
always
You
looking
would
at.
have social media goes viral.
This was before the days of social media.
Stay hygiene.
You know, so we up there we'd be wondering, what's this guy who is looking at periodically on
Down
the
there.
ground? It was the cameramen that said, no, he's not looking at anything, he spits.
Oh my goodness.
He spits out that cola on the carpet, and the place is carpeted. It was
Yes,
always
it
spitting.
is. Red.
And you'd constantly find this woman doing this. Or because what is she supposed to tell this person who
Nothing.
is her age mate and former
Hallowed
governor?
She
You
can't.
understand?
She can't.
You understand?
Oh, boy.
So it's not even about where you are
Yes,
on the
it's not about-
social
it's
strata.
class
It's
or
about
money.
your mentality.
And how you grew up.
And how you grew up.
Yes.
Maybe
Again,
you grew
so
up
that-
in an environment where that's okay.
Yes,
but
so that-
now you're sitting in a carpeted space.
Yes, so that we do not digress too much. You missed one of the conversations we had on one of the shows about what women don't like about men and all of that. And I want to go back to that a bit, not talking about what we don't like about men, but talking about the hygiene aspect of male hygiene. What is with you guys and the bathroom? You want to
Yeah,
take
they're
you
not
want to
flushing
do number one,
properly
you want to
and
do
all
number
that.
two, you don't flush.
You
You
use
don't
your
clean.
towel, you
You
dump
don't
it.
take the seat up. You use your towel. You don't spread it back so that it will dry. You have a bath. By the time you leave the bathroom, it looks like World War III had happened there. You shaved into the sink.
And then you leave it
You
there.
leave it there. You poop. You pee. You leave it there. You have a bath. Salts are all over the place on the bathtub, on the
I'm
floor.
so sorry.
The ground is wet.
You guys are
The
looking like-
towel.
You know what she's saying? No, what she's saying.
What is
Why
it?
she's saying this, I can't imagine myself walking to a toilet and it's dirty and I was just...
You even do number one and number two. You don't wash your hands and you're looking for who
I
to tap.
was coming to that.
What is that?
I was coming to that. I was
What
coming
is
to that.
it?
The part of, part of hygiene also should be, you should also consider the people around you.
Yes, absolutely.
You sneeze.
Have mercy on
You
them.
sneeze. And you should consider going to the nearest place to wash your hands.
Or have a sanitizer.
There's a sanitizer there. There's water there. There's soap there. There's a towel there. There are wipes there. But they don't want to use
It
anyone.
boils down to what I said. culture and orientation.
But that
But like the one I said earlier, you're flushing the toilet, you want to pee. The moment you whip the external genitalia out, you're standing over the WC, you flush the toilet, the pee is coming out.
I
The
don't know
toilet
if it's to disguise the
the
sound
toilet
of
is
the
done
pee.
flushing, the pee is still coming out. You walk away. You have just wasted 10 liters of water and
it had a lot to do with
what is
orientation.
going on?
Because even, believe it or not, we're talking about men, but some women are like that too. Because of how they were brought up.
Orientation.
Yeah,
So
if
you're not
you
brought up to
can't
be
give what
clean,
you don't have.
Exactly, you can't be
If
clean.
your mother is dirty, she's
Yes.
not going to raise you to be
But
clean.
if your spouse or a loved one is hounding you about it for years and years, can you please not change? Can you not change,
It has
please?
caused a lot of problems in homes.
I forgot about
Yeah.
it. You forget about it 365 days in a year.
It's caused a lot of problems
Come
in homes.
on.
Unacceptable.
Please.
You see the woman trying to correct the man, and the man is trying to say, please, I'm not your baby, and it gets out of hand, and something happens, the woman becomes
I
correct.
know a couple, when they were dating, this was what the guy kept doing. He will not take the toilet seat up, he will pee, he will mess up the toilet seat, he will not clean, he will not flush. They will share the same toothpaste, he will take from the middle instead of from the bottom pushing up. He will not cover, the whole place is just messed up. She kept telling him, he said, When they got married and she saw that he wasn't changing. One day this man came back, this lady had packed and left.
Oh.
When they asked her, what is it? I begged him, we talked about it, he refused to accept responsibility for his actions. I'm done.
But let me come in here.
It was that bad for her.
On a scale of, like for me, the way I, try to operate within my space is this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much is this particular thing an
problem.
issue in my life?
Yes.
Wet towel on the bed. I'm sorry, my husband is guilty.
Poor man.
But I have formed the habit so that I don't have unnecessary friction
Headache.
with him. It comes from a place of absent-mindedness, not carelessness or recklessness on his part. He usually has a lot on his mind and he forgets this. And so I have formed the habit where instead of setting him off on his way daily with a frown on my face because there's wet towel on the bed, as he's dropping it, I've picked it. It's up there. He also will, lift and up, put it back. I walk in, I do my business, and I've
High five for
never,
that. High five for that.
No, seriously,
Because I do the same thing.
My
husband
I've
is
never made it
There's no
an
need to
issue.
make it an
I do
issue.
the same thing.
Oh,
As for the
I'm a good man.
toothpaste, it was an issue when toothpaste tubes were made of aluminium.
Yes, now that it's
So if you press in the
rubber,
middle, you trap what's
The
left.
one behind.
Now it's made of plastic.
Just push it up.
So you can press at the top.
same thing.
It doesn't matter.
The same
It will
thing.
still all come out at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
Same
So don't worry. Like the thing, of course, I don't want to wake up every
I
day
love
and
her
see-
remedy.
No,
Yeah.
really. There are tiny things that really don't matter.
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to
For
10,
some people, it
they are
drives them
to
crazy.
me, they're
To
inconsequential.
me also, is it
Yeah, just
consequential?
I've made up my mind that they will not drive me
Everything
crazy.
must be
Exactly, that is it.
No, I'm like
Make up
that.
your mind that they must,
When I
they
was
will not drive you
single,
crazy.
When I was single, one time I noticed that when people would visit me, they would sit like this, and when they were leaving, they would be arranging cushions. And I stopped and I stepped back, and that was me. You are not yet out the door. I'm adjusting my cushions.
Madam, speak and span.
I don't. As
people will start getting
you're there, you just had your drink, you're keeping this thing on the ground and
grabbing
keeping
it.
it for you on the
Exactly.
table.
Right.
So people,
Subconscious.
yes,
Yes.
so people started being like this around me, and I was like, no, you need to step back, And I brought that with me into my marriage. My husband is not a dirty person. I can handle one sock out of the way, a pair of shoes not lying in the right place. And for me, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's the most insignificant thing ever. This thing is not in the right place. I take it and put it away and everything so that I'm not having unnecessary friction with him every day
Exactly.
over toothpaste, toothbrush, towel on the bed.
But you know that there's a small percentage of
That's
people
for me.
that have OCD. They are
Yes.
obsessive compulsive
I
compulsive
understand
disorder.
that thing is a mental disorder.
It
Yes,
is.
it
It's
is.
part of the mental health challenge that a lot of people have.
is.
Yeah,
So for
so-
those kind of people, maybe that other lady that walked out, maybe she has OCD.
She might
Those
be a
ones,
little
even in the
OCD
office,
maybe.
when
They
they come,
cannot.
they will move the
They
stapler
cannot. So if you have a
It
partner,
must be there.
they
That's
have
where it's
if you
supposed
have
to be.
a
If you put
partner
it
that
here.
is like that, please
1 minute.
reconsider your toilet habits or your personal hygiene where the
And you know,
person is.
another
You're driving
thing-
the person
Another
crazy.
thing, Doc, from what Divan said,
Yes.
when you develop the habit of when he drops it, you pick it.
As he's dropping, I
after
picked
a
it. So
time,
it's not an
he
issue.
becomes conscious of it
True, true,
and starts doing it
True.
right.
true.
Yes,
True for you?
yeah, because
After some time, he
he's
realizes
not
that
Not all of them would.
he's much better now with that than he was
it will not
when
be
we
all
first
the
got
time. It
married.
might not be.
No, no,
he's
I'm
not
not
perfect.
mistaken.
He has improved with the wet towel thing,
I
but
love-
every now and then he will
I
forget.
love what Divan has just
So,
said.
Yeah.
Now, it's good you know your spouse's
Yes.
area.
Yes.
Uh,
Make sure that they don't have
That's-
OCD.
Yes.
Because if they have OCD,
That is
that
horrible.
thing is driving them crazy. Oh.
Yeah,
You
true.
can put them in a nut house.
Mental, yes.
You can put them in a nut
I
house.
love to have a very beautiful house. Well clean, well kept, and everything. And it had a little, because I in my work time, I stayed more alone than with my family until we moved into Abuja. So at a point, I lived in a hotel, and it was easy for me
Yeah.
to operate because I go out, I come back, everything is
Everything
okay.
is spick and span.
And my wife was like, go ahead. And at a point, it was becoming a problem. Because when I moved with my family, you see your guy, children will come and be children around.
Of
Yes.
course.
So at the point I was getting angry, and I asked myself, guy, you're no longer staying alone.
And you're not
Get
in a
used to
hotel.
it. Get used to it. And I got used to it. Now, I used to, once I'm back, my basket is there. I remove my shirt, it goes straight to the basket. I remove my shoes, it goes straight to the place. I remove my boxer, it goes to the basket, and I'm done. Then I'll sleep, but with the children around, you have to learn to understand it. And gradually, yeah, I've taken to it, because you must not always, you can't keep pushing them about or else you become mad.
Yeah.
Of
So
course.
gradually, and as they grow up, we begin to teach them on how to understand to keep it. Now, when he drops it, and I'll tell him, go pick it, put it back. Pick it, put it back. So he has learned now that he will not
This
just,
is how
sometimes
to
he now
do it.
uses his leg, throws it up, he grabs it, he now puts it back where
But the
it should be.
important thing
I
is
do
you're
that
putting it
with
back.
learning. I do that
gradually
for my
he's
kids.
Learning.
Exactly.
Now, there's something I missed out. For the men whose feet usually smell, it may not be as a result of your stockings also. It could be because of the sweaty nature of your shoes.
Yes.
Okay.
Tight shoes too.
Yes, airing
And
shoes
the kind of leather it's
could
made from.
cure that without you spending any money.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, when you just get back, instead of pushing the shoe, putting the stockings inside the shoe
yeah, and
and putting it inside the drawer, remove the stockings from the shoe, take it to where it could either see the AC, the fan, or the natural,
Outside, yes.
and you see your shoe fresh the next day.
Yep.
You're not spending money. And these are things you ought to do consistently. And before you know it, becomes a part of you.
Yes.
And on that note, we'll wrap up today's
Are you kidding?
Yes, hygiene. They say time flies when you're having fun.
Yes.
It was, I think it was an enlightening one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah?
It was.
And so, again, we'll start from my far right. Okay, we started this way, but we'll start this way this time. Chi?
I am Chi. Oh, you helped me out already.
Yeah.
Kumahaka is my name. Thank you.
Dr. Brahma is my name, Dr. B for short. I hope we have been able to teach you one or two things today.
Rita is the name. Thank you for being with us. We look forward to having you on another conversation.
The topic once again was male hygiene, and I will be ending on the note of don't sweat the small stuff. See you again another time.
Hello, and this is the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. Good morning and welcome to the news. I am Abdul Malik Adiu. Thanks for joining us. Comfort is reading alongside.
Thank you, Malik.
It's good to be on the news with you. And hello, the news is broadcast live from our studios here in Abuja. Thanks for joining us. And here are some of the top stories.
Conduct of Nigerian businessman in Ghana tops discussion between President Muhammadu Buhari and Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila.
I'm leaving for Ghana tomorrow to meet with the Speaker of the Parliament in Ghana to look at the issues on ground as it affects our citizens.
Plateau State widens business scope, cuts air transport services between Jos and the federal capital city.
Nigerians Dr. Akinwumi Adesina resumes duty as president of the AFDB for another 5-year term in office.
Nigeria confirms 239 new cases of COVID-19 in 15 states with no new death recorded from the virus.
Many thanks for staying tuned. Now, issues relating to the alleged maltreatment of Nigerian businessman in the Republic of Ghana dominated discussions as President Muhammadu Buhari granted audience to the Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila.
State House correspondent Adam Musambo reports on this and the President's engagement with Governor Hope Uzodinma on the menace of erosion in Imo State.
Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila was in the State House to formally present to President Muhammadu Buhari the recently launched compendium by the House of Representatives, which the members called Our Contract with Nigerians.
So you have your copy of our legislative agenda, Mr. President. Congratulations. Thank you, sir.
During the closed-door engagement, President Muhammadu Buhari and Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila discussed the fate of Nigerian businessmen in Ghana whose shops were recently closed by the authorities following the imposition of prohibitive taxes.
I'm leaving for Ghana tomorrow to meet with the Speaker of the Parliament in Ghana to look at the issues on ground as it affects our citizens and to try and calm things down and see if there's a way forward. And we hope that we'll come to an amicable settlement one way or the other. As you know, I have set up a group called the COSAP, Conference of Speakers of African Parliaments, and we'll be looking at issues from time to time as they affect African countries. And this is one of them. As Africans, we must at all times work, as best as possible together as we can. And that's what this, my trip is about.
All right, thank you very much.
So what did the President say?
Well, he was happy. I believe that all avenues must be explored. He believes it. He's a man of peace, and he believes that every avenue for peace must be explored. And so, yeah, we're all on the same page. And it was a warm welcome for Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State by the Nigerian leader as issues of development, especially the problems of erosion in the Eastern Heartland, dominated discussions.
The level of erosion in Imo State is alarming. And I've taken time to explain to Mr. President, and he has assured me that the federal government will intervene as soon as possible.
The governor used the opportunity to formally appreciate the Buhari presidency for what he called the unprecedented infrastructural development in the southeast Nigeria.
That our people are grateful, the completion and the opening of Enugu Airport, and we're also happy with the speed and the pace of work at the second Niger Bridge, and the various agric intervention programs brought to Southeast. And I believe that Mr. President is committed towards alleviating some of the problems in the Southeast region, and Imo State in particular.
Governor Hope Uzodinma, who updated President Buhari on his efforts at taking Imo State to the next level of development, said a lot has been achieved regarding his administration's urban renewal enterprise. From the State House, Adam Musambo, NTA News.
While the Community Court of Justice ECOWAS as described as false and baseless, a report by the website myjoyonline.com titled ECOWAS Court Dismisses Case Against Ghana and asks members of the Republic to disregard it in its entirety. Clearing the air on the status of the matter, President Community Court of Justice ECOWAS Honorable Edward Asante in a statement condemns the report and disowns the purported judgment, saying the court did not deliver any such judgment. The statement further reveals that the case was never heard, so the court therefore did not accept nor reject the submissions of any of the parties as falsely claimed in the said publication.
The Nigerian Customs Service says the joint border drill codename Operation Exercise Swift Response, which began a year ago, has recorded appreciable results. The Public Relations Officer of the service, Joseph Atta, in a statement says the exercise, which involves the Nigerian Customs Service, the Nigerian Immigration Service, the Army, and other security agencies, coordinated by the Office of the National Security Advisor, has curtailed the smuggling of drugs and proliferation of small and light arms. He emphasized that it has also boosted agricultural products like rice, tomatoes, maize, and poultry products. He further states that 1,043 and 42 bags of foreign rice, 9,600 bags of NPK fertilizer, 1,709 vehicles, 813 packs of tramadol, including other items classified as contraband, have been seized, while 1,243 irregular immigrants and 622 suspected smugglers have been arrested as of August 31, 2020. In the northwest, north central, south and south geopolitical zones of the country.
Now, a national humanitarian coordination technical working group has been inaugurated by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development for seamless delivery of humanitarian action among key players within the Northeast Theatre of Operation. Ruth Aguele report.
A journey of 1,000 miles, they say, begins with a step. It is a milestone being recorded with the inauguration of the National Humanitarian Coordination Technical Working Group to ensure a structured and efficient approach towards the realization of the civil security coordination within the Northeast Theatre of Operation. This is in respite of bridging communication gap among members of the committee towards reaching the goal of humanitarian action to affected communities and foster understanding amongst key players.
The TWG is a multi-sectoral committee that will propose a national vision for humanitarian action and ensure an evidence-based approach to the implementation of any NHCC recommendations related to operationalization of the CSEC framework and guidelines. The terms of reference for the committee are: propose a national vision for humanitarian action.
Members of the technical group are expected to ensure functional engagements between security agencies and humanitarian actors remain consistent. Also propose policies that will enhance effective and efficient humanitarian service delivery that will cater not only for the Northeast region, but Nigeria as a whole. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
And we now turn our attention to Borno State, where the governor has inaugurated a 22-member high-powered committee for resettlement of Baga community in Kuka local government area of the state.
This follows communication with the Military High Command seeking approval to resettle over 3 years displaced communities. Mohamed Guni report.
The inauguration of the committee followed Governor Babagana Umara's visits to communities in Kuka local government area, including Baga, to fast-track relocation of IDPs from the area taking refuge in Monguno and elsewhere, and the subsequent letter written to the Army High Command seeking approval for resettlement of the communities, which was granted. Governor Babagana Umara thanked the Military High Command, including the Service Chief, the Inspector General of Police, Director General of DSS, among others, for their support in that regard, and further reassure readiness of the Borno State government to partner with all the security establishments in Borno to realize the objective of returning the IDPs of Baga extraction home on 26 October 2020.
The Chief of Army Staff had replied that it is possible for the government of Borno State to relocate its people to Baga on 26th of September.
The governor further charged the committee to work assiduously to ensure realization of the target date of resettlement of Baga community. Chairman of the committee, Barrister Kakasha Ulan, thanked the governor for finding them worthy for the job and assured to live up to expectation. The committee's terms of reference include to commence immediate reconstruction and resettlement of Baga, identifying IDPs from the targeted communities for resettlement, as well as to take any other step that will ensure safe return of the communities, among others. In Maiduguri, Mohamed Goni, NTA News.
And Dr. Akinwumi Ayodeji Adeshina has been sworn in as president of the African Development Bank, AFDB, for a second term of 5 years. He's the first Nigerian to be elected and re-elected to serve as president of the AFDB.
Moplan Dakon reports that the oath of office was administered by Kenneth Ofori-Atta, Ghana's finance minister and chair of the AFDB Board of Governors.
I, Akinwumi Ayodeji Adeshina, President of the African Development Bank, solemnly declare and undertake before the chairperson.
Akinwumi Adeshina was sworn in this Tuesday at the AFDB headquarters in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, in the virtual broadcast following his re-election on August 27, 2020. Adeshina is the first ever president to be elected by 100% of votes by regional and non-regional members of the bank. Dr. Adeshina says his administration has outlined development plan for Africa that will ease the continent out of COVID-19 economic shock.
I stand today with all humility as the president elected by all. I will be the president for all. The bank's climate financing expanded from 9% when you elected me in 2015 to 36% by 2019, an increase of 400%. We've now targeted to reach $25 billion in climate finance by 2021, God willing.
The bank's board of directors approved $10 billion COVID-19 response facility to address project investments for countries on the continent. It also launched $3 billion social bond on the global market. Dr. Adeshina's first term in office focused on 5 development priorities: light up and power Africa, feed Africa, industrialize Africa, integrate Africa, and improve the quality of life for the people of Africa. Muplang Dakok, NTA News.
Thanks, Muplang. And this is the news at 10 on NTA News and broadcast live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. We'll now take some of the top stories again.
2 died in road accident in Lagos. Details in a moment.
Thanks for staying tuned. Now, with the prevalence of flooding and other crises leading to much humanitarian issues in the country, this cannot be said to be the best of time for the ministry in charge, headed by Sadiya Umar Farouk.
An impromptu meeting held on Tuesday in the office of the Vice President sought for greater cooperation and support from all tiers of government, as well as the people in addressing these humanitarian concerns, particularly in the Northeast. State House correspondent Jide Onifade brings us details.
Kebbi State rice farms submerged underwater, an indication of how much havoc flooding could cause if not prevented. More states have been put on alert by the Meteorological Agency and warning that more of such destruction to property, even lives, is imminent unless the people take adequate precautions. Movement of humanitarian services to affected areas is another huge challenge, coupled with security issues. All these call for aids be put together to ensure that the people do not suffer.
We're here specifically to meet on the humanitarian and security situation in the Northeast. And we held the meeting successfully and it's fruitful. And we're moving ahead. Food and other aids to reach the badly affected areas, mostly the salvage areas in the Northeast. And you know, our militaries have been doing wonderfully well these days, and the communities are opening up.
This is one of such cooperations that we are having. We are collaborating and we are working together to see that we achieve the same common objective of addressing the humanitarian issues in the northeastern part of this country as well as other parts of the country.
Governor of Taraba State, Darius Ishaku, and Hope Uzodinma of Imo State also paid visit to the Vice President.
It's due until there is also kidnapping. We've been doing it. It's a stress on our cost, but how can we do? So we must work for the survival of our people.
The belief is that, irrespective of differences, the most important is the coming together by stakeholders to fight common enemies of the country for the betterment of the people. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
And despite the increasing pressure of scarce resources, amongst other emerging challenges, an earnest implementation of ideas by focused leadership can improve the fortunes of the society and make them better.
We join Jide Onifade again to bring us details of a virtual public presentation of 3 books on policy, politics and governance.
Commenting on the books which analysis centers on leadership, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo notes that if there was any doubt about the fact that the quality of leadership is central to the fortunes of society, the coronavirus pandemic has established that in plain terms. Purpose of politics, as he says, is the attainment of power for the prosecution of the public good and not as an end in itself or for personal or other parochial interests.
What the problem we have is that there is so much concern about self, about narrow parochial interests, that the Nigerian elite is even unable, even out of self-preservation, to find a consensus, not only to lead the nation forward, but also to prevent itself from destruction.
In the era of the mindless tweets and other digital enablers of lightning speed communication and the plural attention span they nurture, the Vice President observes that the space for critical thinking on public affairs is narrowing and the public intellectual is fast becoming an endangered category. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is optimistic that with the recent disposition of key players in the Edo governorship election, the process will be smooth.
Mayor Gidi reports that INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu stated this while swearing in Tella Adeniro as Resident Electoral Commissioner for Ekiti State.
We have said so consistently. We have expressed our anxiety about the conduct of particularly political actors, the candidates, their supporters. And it is for that reason that I went to Benin and spent 3 days, and we visited important stakeholders, including His Royal Majesty, the Oba of Benin. So we are concerned, but we are leaving no stone unturned in speaking to the political actors, to respected voices like the Oba of Benin, as well as the security agencies to ensure hitch-free elections.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission partners with the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission to curb revenue loss. More on Business News with Ronami Igirani.
Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RMAFC, has agreed to partner with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to better monitor and plug leaks involved in the process of remitting generated revenue accruable to the Federation account by the revenue generating and collection agencies. The RMAFC is one of the 14 executive bodies provided in the 1999 Constitution as amended to also monitor revenue accruals and disbursements from the Federation account. And in Europe, the Statistical Office of the European Union, Eurostat, released a report on Tuesday revealing a 0.2% rise in unemployment in July. The Eurozone has been struggling with a severe economic recession in the wake of the pandemic, seeing 19 member economies shrink by 12.1% in Q2. Yet, despite some relaxation of COVID-19 measures in July, the figure went up to 7.9% from 7.7% in June. Youth unemployment also rose to 17.3% from 17.2%. Unemployment among women increased to 8.3%, while that of men increased to 7.6% in the same month. Member country Spain had the highest rate of increase at 15.8%, while Czechia had the lowest at 2.7%. The Eurostat data estimates that 12.9 million people were unemployed in July 2020. And on the stock market on Tuesday, 1st of September 2020, all-share index increased 0.34%, closing at 25,413 points. Market capitalization closed at 13.258 trillion naira. Gains made were impacted by stocks like Nigerian breweries and Stanbic. With business news, I'm Ronami Egirani.
Many thanks, Ronamin, for that business news. Now to the health sector. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control has confirmed 239 new cases of COVID-19 in 50 states of the Federation as of the 1st September 2020. A breakdown of the figures shows that Plateau State still has the highest confirmed cases of 116, followed by FCT with 33, then Lagos with 19 cases. Ekiti comes in with 12, Kaduna and Ogun State has 11 cases each, and others are Ebonyi State with 8, Benue 7, Abia and Delta recorded 5 cases each, while Ondo State has 4, Edo State with 3, and Imo or Osun has 2 new cases, and Bauchi State has 1 case. So far, Nigeria has 54,247 confirmed cases of COVID-19, out of which 40,010 patients were discharged, while 1,023 have so far died from the virus.
And in line with fighting coronavirus pandemic in the country, Nigerian Society of Engineers created a contact-less and automatic hand sanitizer to support NCDC in fighting the virus. Suleiman Abdul Wahab has details.
The fight against ravaging COVID-19 is one the Nigerian government and the people are not taking with levity. Different measures being put in place with some creative preventive equipment installed. Joining the fight is the Nigerian Society of Engineers with its donation of contactless automatic sanitizers as well as other personal protective equipment with a check of 10 million naira.
May I take this opportunity to once again inform the DG and the federal government, a fact already known to you, that during this lockdown, most faculties of engineering we are involved in one form or other in the fabrication of contactless washing machines, ventilators and hand sanitizers.
Receiving the items on behalf of NCDC, Director of Administration, Human Resources, Yakub Abdullahi, while commending the group for the kind gesture, reminded Nigerians that COVID-19 is real. Hence, necessary preventive measures must be adhered individually.
The Society of Engineers have done greatly. We've seen their handwork elsewhere,
and they have now followed up with this huge donation to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. So I had to thank them on behalf of the DG and the management of NCDC.
The engineers call on well-meaning Nigerians to follow suit in collaborating with the NCDC as fight against the virus is a collective one. In Abuja, Suleiman Abdulwahab, NTA News.
And scaling up institutionalization of African traditional medicine and health system in Africa is key to promotion and development of traditional medicine. Malik, what do you think about that?
Indeed, quite laudable. And this is the thrust of discussions as Nigeria joins the world to celebrate 2020 African traditional medicine.
Basi Ita Ikban reports that the theme of this year's celebration is 2 decades of African traditional medicine, 2001 to 2020, what progress in countries.
For the past 18 years, countries in the African region marked the African Traditional Medicine Day, the strengthening of the linkage between traditional medicine and institutionalized care in line with WHO strategy. The commemoration underscores the fact that traditional medicine has been used by Africans for the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment.
Africa must pause and reflect on how well it has fared in promotion, development, researching, and ultimate integration of traditional medicine into the mainstream healthcare delivery system.
Within a very short while, it is very clear that policy-wise, we are finally getting it right.
Experts were quick to draw attention to the fact that during this COVID-19 crisis, African traditional medicine took the spotlight, starting with widespread discussion of COVID organics as a potential remedy for the virus.
With strong political will, the researchers, the practitioners, and all the serious stakeholders to come in and promote the African traditional medicine in their respective countries.
Basi Taipa, NTA News.
Now, the Association of Resident Doctors, Federal Capital Territory Administration have embarked on strike over non-payment of COVID-19 hazard and inducement allowance, as well as non-implementation of the variation of the 2018 promotion exercise, amongst other issues. In a communique after its virtual emergency general meeting, President of the chapter, Dr. Roland Agbuvu, said this follows the expiration of a 14-day ultimatum given to the FCT administration. Hakimat Ali brings us the situation report from the hospital as the strike commenced.
As stated in their communique, the strike commenced 8 a.m. this morning.
The issue borders on the payment of the COVID-19 hazard allowance and the non-implementation of the variation of our members.
Without the strike, this place would have been a beehive of people lined up to see the doctors. But with no doctor on seat, many have had to go back to their homes unattended.
My wife is not that sound and she just gave birth new. Coming to the hospital, even for them to attend to her, they said doctors are on strike.
So my dismay, since morning I've called in here, my son is in the emergency ward there. If you see his leg, you will not be happy at all.
So even as I am now, I want to see a doctor because I know how I feel. But if I go there now, they say doctor is on strike, I will not feel happy.
As observed in Wuse District Hospitals, resident doctors have deserted their duty post, and those needing medical attention are already feeling the impact. In Abuja, Hakimat Ali, NTA News.
You're watching the news at 10 on NTA, and we have more reports, including establishment of national...
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Visual Impressions on NTA. I am Umar Mohammed. Now, Nigeria's artistic heritage is one enriched by the fact that the country is one of the most culturally diverse in the African continent. And with that, the city of Abuja is fast thriving to become a culturally diverse and a center for artistic activities. But most of its creative art is essentially hidden behind buildings or on masked gates. So, the art community in Abuja decided to come together for a second time to showcase their works to art enthusiasts in what was considered to be an exhibition of great minds. Take a look. Recognizing the challenges that artists have in sharing their talents, the U.S. Embassy welcomed the opportunity to collaborate with the International Institute for Creative Development, IICD, to launch the second annual Abuja Open House Art Exhibition, which lasted for 3 days in galleries around the city of Abuja. The event, which had an array of highly esteemed speakers like Mrs. Eugenia Abu, Mr. Patrick Okigbo, Mr. Victor Ehikameno, Mr. Jonas Lauston, and Mr. Uche Opa Iroha, all from the media and art industry, engaged the audience in an exclusive discussion on ways to move the art scene forward and also on how Nigerians can become global brands in the competitive world of art.
Abuja Open House is designed around the art spaces in Abuja. There have always been this common conversation that Abuja doesn't have a soul, a creative soul. And beside that, we know that there are galleries that are existing in Abuja. One of the things we've done is to map a trajectory by saying that, look, if you follow this map, you are going to find these spaces. And so we develop a map that will take you to find these spaces. One of the things we are doing is to connect the Abuja public or the Abuja audience